Tonight, Governor Raimondo is urging more groups of workers to get tested for COVID-19. Good evening. I'm Mike Montecalvo.
And I'm Shannon Hegy. Rhode Island is currently 2 weeks into phase 2 of reopening, and here's where things stand right now.
The Department of Health says another 10 people have died of the virus, bringing the state's death toll to 833.
141 people are in the hospital, 7 fewer than yesterday. Of those, 28 are in the ICU and 17 are on a ventilator.
And there were 84 new positive cases, which is 2.3% of all test results returned. Now, this is actually down from the slight uptick in positive results we saw yesterday.
Governor Raimondo also announced a new incentive program for landlords to rent to homeless families, pledging a $2,000 signing bonus to the first unit they rent to the homeless and $500 per unit after that.
Governor Raimondo also announced today that she will expand testing to asymptomatic employees in even more industries. Eyewitness News reporter Ted Nesi is at the State House with the details on just who can get tested. Ted?
Mike, Shannon, while states like Arizona and Florida are reporting record numbers of new coronavirus cases, so far it appears that the virus is still under control in Rhode Island. And the governor argues that increased testing is the way to keep it that way.
It's all trending in the right direction.
Rhode Island now averaging fewer than 100 new coronavirus cases a day, even while testing a larger share of residents than any other state.
But just remember, the virus hasn't gone away. Our numbers aren't trending in the right direction because we have a cure or a vaccine or the virus is gone. It's tending in the right direction because we've changed.
Governor Raimondo this week opened COVID-19 testing to some individuals with no symptoms, specifically close contact workers like hairdressers and gym employees.
We have capacity to run 900 of these asymptomatic tests a day, but right now we're only averaging about half of that.
In an effort to increase that number, testing is now available to asymptomatic restaurant workers and bus drivers, too.
The more we test waiters, waitresses, haircutters, and get a feel for the prevalence of the disease, it is my hope that it'll also get Rhode Islanders to be more confident.
Are you finding asymptomatic cases? You know, when a hairdresser shows up who doesn't feel sick but gets a test or a massage? So I know it's early days, but what are you seeing so far with that?
Yes, it's still early on, but we are anticipating that we will see cases.
Health Department Director Dr. Nicole Alexander Scott also still concerned about the higher prevalence of cases in places like Providence, Central Falls, and Pawtucket.
We are working hard, but the reality is that we are still seeing the disparities.
And Governor Raimondo says more testing sites should be announced next week for those hard-hit communities.
As Rhode Island continues to see less than 100 new coronavirus cases a day, many of us are looking ahead to the next phase of the governor's reopening plan. Good evening, I'm Shannon Hegy.
And I'm Mike Montecalvo. We are now 2 weeks into phase 2, but what does the governor envision phase 3 looking like?
Eyewitness News politics editor Ted Nesi is live at the State House with what the governor had to say today about phase 3 and weddings. Hi, Ted.
Hi, Shannon. Hi, Mike. Well, with Rhode Island set to move into phase 3 of the reopening plan as soon as roughly July 1st, we're getting a lot of questions from viewers about when it might be possible to have a somewhat normal wedding. So the governor was asked about all those issues at today's briefing.
The question is, when are we going to get to phase 3? And as I stand here, I don't know. We like to do things for 14 days and observe for 14 days. So as I said all along, you know, what I've been saying is early July. So I know that's unsatisfying, but it is what it is. So we are going to, next week, I am hopeful that we'll be able to have clearer guidance. This I know we will do. We are going to give guidance next week around what phase 3 will look like. And I don't know if next week I'll be in a position to say this is the date of phase 3. There's a difference between allowing, say, 50% capacity at a restaurant, which might have, say, 100 people at the restaurant, but there are 100 people who don't know each other, so they're not mingling with one another, right? We went out for dinner last night. We sat in our table, didn't really interact with the other people, and we left. If you have 100 people at an event, say a wedding, who all know each other, they're all going to be close to each other. They're going to be congregating. They're going to want to dance. There's going to want to be music. So for phase 2, when we're still trying to play it safe, we decided, and it's a tough call, believe me. It is a tough call, but we said, you know, there is a difference between an event with mingling and everyone knows each other and a restaurant. So the best I can say is it's a few more weeks. Hang in there. If you can wait for your wedding to be in July or August, it's going to be easier.
And right now in phase 2, the limit on social gatherings in Rhode Island is 15 people. When we go to phase 3, the governor says that limit could go as high as 100 people. Live at the State House, Ted Nesi, Eyewitness News.